Allie, what's wrong? You want to be in the video? Did you want to be in the video? Okay, go lay down. Hey guys, it's Allie. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm so excited because I'm doing my April TBR, and for the month of April, I'm actually doing the Owls/Magical Readathon. If you're not sure what that is, I will have Book Roast, her video linked down below that explains the whole entire thing, and it's also where you can download this like amazing packet document that she created for us for free. She put so much work into this. I'm so impressed. But basically, it is somewhat Harry Potter themed because we are going to be taking our OWLS exams, and for every subject there is a book prompt, and there's a total of 12. But this year she even took it a step further, and you could actually pick from, I don't even know how many different like wizarding careers, and based on what career you want to go for after you graduate from Hogwarts is like the number of owls and what subjects you have to pass an OWLS exam in. So I chose Hogwarts professor. It was between this or a librarian, but this one is a little more, it's kind of easier because you have to pass 7 owls, meaning you would only have to read 7 books. One subject has to be defense against the dark arts, and then all the rest of them, you pick whatever prompts you want. You pick a subject you would wish to teach, and then 5 additional subjects of your choice. So again, her video and in her description box is where you can download your wizarding career guidebook, and it's also, I think this was separate, you could download your letter from Professor McGonagall explaining that your OWLS exams are coming up. It will also explain like your grading, so you will get an acceptable for 2 past exams or 2 books read, exceed expectations with 6 past exams, and outstanding by passing 9 exams or more. So like I said, for Hogwarts professor I have to do 7, but being me, a little overachiever, I want to at least read 9 because that's the outstanding, and then I kind of want to go for all 12. So I have 11 books. I am missing 1 subject because I haven't thought of a book for it yet, so if you have any suggestions, let me know down below. So my goal is 9, I'm hoping for 12. So let's just dive on in and I will show you what books I'm reading for each of my subjects for my OWLS exams. Alright, for my first OWLS exam, it is Ancient Runes, and that subject or book prompt is a retelling. So I picked Geekerella by Ashley Poston. I couldn't find her name there for a second. So this is it gonna focus? This is a Cinderella type retelling. I don't know a ton about it. I know it's has to do with like fan fiction culture, and I haven't read it yet, so I'm really excited. It's been out for a while and has really great reviews, and it's a shorter contemporary, so I'm really excited to read it. Alright, the next book prompt is work written by 1 or more author, and for this I picked Loved by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. This is there's dust because this has been sitting on my shelf for a while. This is a House of Night novel. It's like a semi-spin-off series, but it does take place right after the House of Night series ended. I'm getting so tongue-tied. So I am finally going to pick this up. So House of Night, The Vampire School, if you're not familiar. I always read these books really fast. I love their writing. So that is book number 2 of the month. Although I might not read them in this order, but you know what I mean. Alright, the next subject is astronomy, and that is read a book with a star in the title. So for that, I grabbed The Sun is Also a Star. No, I have not read it yet. I know there's a movie coming soon, so I want to hurry up and read it. and this is by Nicola Yoon. It's a YA contemporary, so it should be a quicker read. I might actually listen to this one on Audible or one of the other contemporaries, because contemporaries are just great for audiobooks. And I'm excited to read this. I know it's about, I think, a teenage girl. Her parents or her whole family is about to be deported back to Jamaica, but she was born and raised in the United States. And I think the day before, she meets a boy named Daniel, and they're in New York City, and they have like 12 hours, 24 hours to spend with each other and go on adventures. And I think it's like an insta-love story. Like I said, I don't know a ton. I like going into books not knowing like a whole lot, because I like to be surprised. So I'm really excited to finally pick this up, because it's, again, been sitting on my shelf for, I think I had this last year or the year before, December 2016 for Book of the Month. So there you go. Alright, next is Care of Magical Creatures. This would definitely be one of the subjects that I would want to teach if I was a Hogwarts professor, and that book prompt is land animal on the cover. And, okay. I grabbed Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and there's a puppy on the front and a puppy on the back. And I've actually already read this, I think it was last year, whenever this one came out, and I loved it. I listened to it on Audible, so I might do that again, or I might actually read it, because I think there's like comic strips in the book. Maybe not, I don't see any. Anyways, this is a really cute, fun story about the Grant family. Her mom is a comic writer. Her comics are published in their local newspaper. Actually, not even just local. I think it's like a super, super popular comic. It takes place over the span of one weekend. I seriously love the family dynamic in this book, so I just wanted to reread it. I recently ordered the book from Book Outlet, so it's a little beat up. But I was honestly kind of desperate to find a book with a land animal on the cover. Not a lot of books have land animals. I have a bunch of books with birds and dragons and like magical creatures, but finally found one with a dog on the cover. And as I said that, Geekerella actually has a dog on the cover too right here, but you can only pick one book for one subject. Alright, the next OWL's exam is Charms, and that is an age line, read an adult work. And this one also has a dog on the front. And I actually grabbed it for that and then realized I needed an adult book, so I picked The Choice by Nicholas Sparks. I actually can't remember if I've read this one or not. I have almost all of his books, but I haven't read them all. I was like a collector and then collected more than I actually read, so I wanted to read it. I reread the synopsis and it didn't sound too familiar, but I love Nicholas Sparks. He's probably one of the few adult writers that I read a lot. I read The Notebook and the Wedding back in February, and his books are really quick reads as well, and emotional and full of love, and I'm just excited to read another one of his books this year. Then for Defense Against the Dark Arts, which is the subject that I absolutely had to read, is a title that starts with an R. So I picked a fantasy novel. I think, is it the only fantasy? Well, I guess Loved is technically fantasy, like the vampires and stuff. But this is like high fantasy, I think. And that is Roar by Kara Carmack. And again, don't know a ton about it. I grabbed it on Book Outlet. It was like right on the front, like recommended pages. And I read the synopsis and it sounded really good. And it's like 375 pages. But I didn't want to like pick too many high fantasies because they can sometimes take a while to get through. And reading more than one fantasy novel in a month can get a little overwhelming because you're trying to learn all these new worlds. So this was like my high fantasy pick of the month, and I'm excited to read that. And she looks like a bad A on the front, so I'm excited. So that is for Defense Against the Dark Arts. The next one is Divination, and it is a book that is set in the future. This is the subject that I don't have a book for yet, so if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. If you are participating, what are you reading for this subject if you're reading it? And yeah, I was a little lost. I'm assuming it's going to be some kind of maybe like sci-fi-ish book or maybe another fantasy. But how can you tell the fantasies in the future? I don't know. So I was a little stumped on that one. So if you have any ideas for me, let me know down below. Alright, the next one is also a subject I would probably want to read because I like plants, and that is herbology, and this one has to have a plant on the cover. And for that one, I picked The Weight of Feathers by Anna Marie Macklemore. And there's tree branches on the cover. And this one is, I think, magical realism, and it's like a Romeo Juliet-ish type book or type love story. It's like two battling, are they families, or I don't really remember. But there's two sides. A girl and a boy from each side fall in love, you know, across enemy lines. So that's kind of this book. This has been recommended by one of my favorite booktubers, Hannah, or A Clockwork Reader. Clockwork Reader is her YouTube channel name. And I remember she read it for a readathon or just a reading vlog, and she absolutely loved it. So I again picked it up from Book Outlet, and I'm really excited to read it. I love magical realism, so can't wait to read it. The next subject is also one that I would like to teach at Hogwarts if I became a professor, because I love history. So that is History of Magic, and that prompt is a book published at least 10 years ago. And I picked Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility in this edition. There's stuff flying everywhere. I grabbed these for like $7 at Books A Million, and yeah, I'm just excited. I wanted to read a classic, so I thought this was perfect, and this edition is so cool. There's pictures in it. There's even, if I can find it really quick, there's pictures of like the characters. Okay, here we go. Just for an example. So I really like this edition. I thought it was really cool, and I actually didn't expect that to be in here because these were wrapped in plastic, and I just thought the outside and the sprayed edges were cool. There's also like a timeline. So anyways, I've never read Wuthering Heights, sadly, so I thought it was the perfect one. And I think I grabbed Wuthering Heights above the rest of them because it's shorter. So yep, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte for History of Magic. Alright, for Muggle Studies, it was contemporary, which is my jam this year, apparently. I've been reading nonstop contemporary, and I've only read, I think, 3 fantasy books, which are all in the same series this year. But I picked up Field Notes on Love by Jennifer E. Smith. This is actually new. I think it was just released in March or April, and Utterly Romantic says Jenny Han, and Morgan Matson is also quoted on the back. Reading it, I felt like I suddenly found something wonderful. So I'm really excited about this. It's about this boy, I don't remember their names. Hugo and his girlfriend were about to go on a trip across the country by train, and she dumped him, and the train tickets are in her name. So he posted a flyer saying he needed a replacement with this girl's name, and May, this other girl, found it and said, hey, I need to go on an adventure, and I guess posed as his girlfriend to get the train tickets and to be able to go on this cross-country train ride with a complete stranger. Seems like the best idea. So yeah, it just seems like a fun story, and it's pretty short. It's a contemporary, so this will probably only take me, you know, a couple days to read, but I'm really excited. I've heard great things about it. It's 274 pages. So yeah, I'm really excited to read it. All right, we are down to 2 more owls exams. I gotta hurry, my camera is trying to overheat on me. So the next one is potions, and the prompt is next ingredient, a sequel. So I'm holding up the first one because the second one is on its way from Amazon. And for this, I picked a graphic novel because they're short, and I read the first one this past month, and I really want to read the second one, and that is Saga by Brian Vaughan and Fiona Staples. So there's the front, As you can see from the front, this is an adult graphic novel, just throwing that out there. Content warning, it is very graphic. I just called a graphic novel graphic. I meant sexually graphic, so warning, 18 and up, I guess, I would assume would be a great age for this. But this is very sci-fi as well, which is not my normal reading choice, but again, Hannah and Read by Zoe actually talked about the Saga series and they really enjoyed it, so I figured I would continue. I read this one in like an hour, so graphic novels are a great pick for readathons when you're trying to read. I'm actually trying to read 13 books in a month, which I'll get to at the end. So yeah, Saga number 2 is on its way from Amazon. All right, the last Owl's subject is Transfiguration, and this is a book with sprayed edges or red cover. So this read is actually counting for 2 things for me this month because this is the bookmarked book club pick of the month as well, and it has a lot of red on the cover, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I guess this is high fantasy as well, so I don't know what I was talking about earlier about not picking a lot of fantasy. What is this book about? This book I believe is about a world where the only way you can die is if you were killed by one of these scythe people. And because they're, okay, let me just read this because this is a hot mess. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of those things and has even conquered death. Scythes are the only ones who can end a life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. So we have 2 characters that are chosen to apprentice a scythe, a role neither of them wants. Let's see. The teens must master the art of taking a life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. So there you go. The back of the book will always explain it better than I can. And this book is kind of long. Let me see. I don't want to be spoiled. 432 pages. But I'm still really excited to read this. I've been meaning to read it for so long. So I went and grabbed it at the bookstore the other day. And I was like, perfect. It has red on the cover because I was worried about how to make this fit in here. So that is all the books for the Owl's exams. And then when I mentioned 13 books, the Paper and Glam book club read is it My Favorite Sister or The Favorite Sister by Jessica Knoll. And I could not make it fit into any of these prompts, so I'm probably going to listen to that on Audible as well. So if I succeed at reading everything, that will be 13 books in the month of April. And it is currently April 1st when I'm filming this, so I need to get to reading. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learning about my TBR for this Owl's Magical Readathon. Again, all the links and information will be down below where someone can explain it a lot better than I can. But if you are participating in the readathon, let me know. There's still time to join if it sounds like fun. Again, although it's like based on like Owl's exams, I mean, that's about as Harry Potter as it is. So if you're not a Harry Potter person, you can still totally participate and just follow the book prompts. But if you're not participating in it, just let me know down below what you're reading, or if you read something lately that you absolutely love that you think I would enjoy. Let me know. Talk to me. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. I will be sure to do a reading wrap up at the end of the month to let you know what grade I got on my Owl's exams. And I still need to do my February and March reading wrap up. I think I'm going to combine them, so look out for that video here on my channel soon. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have an amazing day and happy April and happy reading. Bye guys!